What measure of thermal resistance used in the textile industry is said to derive from the name of a Roman garment? Tog. A tog is a unit of thermal resistance used to quantify the warmth or insulating power of textiles, particularly duvets and sleeping bags. The term is widely believed to have originated from the ancient Roman garment, the toga, linking it to the concept of protective clothing. What nickname was given to the artificial life form created in 2010 by US biologist Craig Venter? Cynthia. Cynthia was the informal name given to Mycoplasma laboratorium JCVI Syn 1.0, the first synthetic life form created by a team led by J. Craig Venter in 2010. This groundbreaking achievement involved synthesizing an entire bacterial genome and transplanting it into a host cell, demonstrating the potential for synthetic biology. Spencer Perceval, 1762–1812, is the only British Prime Minister to have been what? Assassinated. Spencer Perceval holds the unique and tragic distinction of being the only British Prime Minister to have been assassinated. He was shot and killed by John Bellingham in the lobby of the House of Commons on May 11, 1812, an event attributed to Bellingham's personal grievances against the government. Mirabelle is a variety of which fruit? Plum. Mirabelle refers to a small, sweet, and typically golden yellow variety of plum, predominantly cultivated in the Lorraine region of France. These distinct plums are highly valued for their delicate flavor and are commonly used in various culinary applications, including jams, tarts, and liqueurs. In which year was the euro, the single European currency, introduced into the world financial markets? 1999. The euro, as the single currency for many European Union member states, was officially introduced to world financial markets on January 1, 1999. Initially, it served as an accounting currency for electronic transactions, with physical banknotes and coins entering circulation on January 1, 2002. What color is the mineral rock malachite? Green. Malachite is a copper carbonate mineral known for its vibrant green color. It has been used as an ornamental stone and pigment for thousands of years, primarily found in the oxidized zones of copper deposits. Which painter is known as the father of Impressionism? Claude Monet. Claude Monet was a pivotal figure in the Impressionist movement, a 19th-century art movement characterized by small, thin, yet visible brush strokes, open composition, and emphasis on accurate depiction of light. His painting, Impression, Soleil Levant, Impression, Sunrise, gave the movement its name. The fantastically expensive civet coffee is so called because the beans are harvested from civet dung. Civet coffee, also known as Kopi Luwak, is renowned for its high cost. The unique flavor profile of this coffee is attributed to the digestive process of the Asian palm civet, which consumes coffee cherries and then excretes the partially digested beans, believed to ferment and enhance the flavor. Who was the mother of King Edward VI, 1537–1553? Jane Seymour. Jane Seymour was the third wife of King Henry VIII and the only one to bear him a male heir, Edward VI. She tragically died shortly after Edward's birth due to complications, making her a significant figure in the Tudor succession line. What gas do humans breathe out? Carbon dioxide. During respiration, humans inhale oxygen, which is used by cells for metabolic processes. As a byproduct of these processes, carbon dioxide is produced and then exhaled, completing the gas exchange in the lungs. The artist El Greco was born on which Greek island? Crete. El Greco, born Domenikos Theotokopoulos, was a prominent painter, sculptor, and architect of the Spanish Renaissance. He was born on the island of Crete, which was then part of the Republic of Venice, and his early training reflected post-Byzantine art traditions before he moved to Italy and later Spain. The Gaillard Cut is part of which canal connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans? Panama Canal. The Gaillard Cut, originally known as Culebra Cut, is an artificial valley that cuts through the continental divide in Panama. It is a crucial part of the Panama Canal, allowing ships to traverse between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, significantly reducing maritime travel distances. Which US president is depicted on the Purple Heart Medal? George Washington. The Purple Heart is a United States military decoration awarded to those wounded or killed while serving. Originally established by George Washington as the Badge of Military Merit in 1782, it was revived in 1932 on Washington's 200th birthday. The medal features a bust of George Washington, America's first president and commander-in-chief. Chasselas, a variety with examples like Götterdell in Germany and Pierre Galet in Switzerland, is a type of which fruit? Grape. Chasselas is a historical and widely cultivated grape variety, primarily used for fresh consumption as a table grape and also for white wine production, especially in Switzerland. Its various regional names reflect its extensive presence across different viticultural areas. Mobile is the technical term for which childhood illness? Measles. Mobile is the medical term for measles, a highly contagious infectious disease caused by the measles virus. It is characterized by fever, cough, runny nose, red eyes, and a widespread skin rash. The MMR vaccine provides effective protection against this illness. Native to Australia, what type of creature is a pardalote, a name derived from the Greek word meaning spotted bird? Pardalotes are small, colorful birds endemic to Australia, belonging to the family Pardalotidae. They are known for their distinctive calls and insectivorous diet, playing a role in forest ecosystems. The name, pardalote, originates from Greek, meaning spotted, referring to the plumage of some species. The Three Gorges Dam, recognized as the world's largest electricity generating plant as of 2010, is located in which country? China. The Three Gorges Dam, situated on the Yangtze River in China, is the world's largest hydroelectric power plant. Completed in 2006, with full operation by 2012, it has an immense generating capacity and also plays a crucial role in flood control and navigation. Cryptozoology refers to the study of creatures that are generally considered to be what? Mythical. Cryptozoology is a pseudoscience that involves the search for and study of animals whose existence is unproven. These often include creatures from folklore, such as Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster, or animals thought to be extinct. The field is not recognized by mainstream science due to a lack of empirical evidence. Ombrophobia is defined as an irrational fear of what natural phenomenon? Rain. Ombrophobia is a specific phobia characterized by an extreme, irrational fear of rain. Individuals with ombrophobia may experience severe anxiety or panic attacks when exposed to rain or even when anticipating it. Like other phobias, it can significantly impact daily life and often requires therapeutic intervention. Russian musician Maxim Vengerov is famous for playing which instrument? Violin. Maxim Vengerov is a world-renowned Russian violinist, conductor, and pedagogue. He is celebrated for his virtuosic technique and profound musical interpretations, making him one of the foremost classical musicians of his generation. Who wrote the play, Look Back in Anger? John Osborne. John Osborne's play, Look Back in Anger, premiered in 1956, is a seminal work of post-war British theatre. It revolutionized the British stage by depicting the disillusionment and anger of the working class and lower middle class, challenging traditional theatrical conventions. Chicago's St. Valentine's Day Massacre occurred in which year? 1929. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre occurred on February 14, 1929, in Chicago, Illinois, during the Prohibition era. It involved the murder of 7 members of the North Side Irish gang led by Bugs Moran, widely believed to have been orchestrated by Al Capone's South Side Italian gang, highlighting the brutal gang warfare of the time. Which chemical element was once used, irresponsibly and dangerously, in luminous markings on watches, clocks, and instrument dials? Radium. Radium, a highly radioactive element, was historically used in luminous paint for watches, clocks, and instrument dials due to its self-luminous properties. This practice was later deemed irresponsible and dangerous due to the severe health risks, including radiation poisoning and cancer, faced by workers and users exposed to the radioactive material. Meiosis affects which part of the human body? Eye. Meiosis refers to the excessive constriction of the pupil of the eye. This can be caused by various factors, including certain drugs, like opioids, neurological conditions, or exposure to bright light, and is an important diagnostic sign in ophthalmology and medicine. The term leporine relates to which animals? Hares. The term leporine is an adjective used to describe characteristics or aspects related to hares. Hares are mammals belonging to the genus Lepus, distinguished from rabbits by their longer ears, larger size, and precocial young. English novelist William Godwin was the father of which novelist daughter? Mary Shelley. William Godwin, an influential English journalist, philosopher, and novelist, was the father of Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley is renowned as the author of the Gothic novel, Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus, a seminal work in both science fiction and horror literature. What is the biggest-selling English-language daily newspaper in India, and was the 8th biggest-selling of all newspapers globally as of 2010? The Times of India. The Times of India is a prominent English-language daily newspaper in India, recognized for its extensive reach and historical significance. As of 2010, it was notably among the world's largest-selling newspapers, reflecting its significant influence on public discourse and news dissemination within India and globally. Hangi is a traditional New Zealand Maori method of cooking using a pit. Hangi is a traditional Maori method of cooking food using heated rocks in a pit oven dug in the ground. This ancient culinary technique is central to Maori culture, used for special occasions and feasts, and is renowned for slow cooking food to create tender, smoky flavors. Which famous 18th century English theologian and chemist pioneered the discovery of oxygen? Joseph Priestley. Joseph Priestley, an 18th century English polymath, is widely credited with independently discovering oxygen in 1774. He identified it as a new gas, which he termed dephlogisticated air, noting its enhanced ability to support combustion and respiration. Queen Victoria was proclaimed Empress of which country in 1877? India. Queen Victoria was proclaimed Empress of India in 1877 under the Royal Titles Act. This act, championed by Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, solidified British imperial rule over India and marked the formal integration of India into the British Empire, following the direct assumption of control after the 1857 Sepoy Mutiny. Natafali is the collecting of what? Banknotes. Natafali is the specialized study and collection of paper money or banknotes. It is considered a sub-discipline of numismatics, which broadly encompasses the study and collection of currency, including coins, tokens, and related objects. Which Cornish castle is traditionally said to be the birthplace of King Arthur? Tintagel. Tintagel Castle, located on the dramatic coastline of Cornwall, England, is deeply intertwined with the legend of King Arthur. Medieval chroniclers, most notably Geoffrey of Monmouth, identified Tintagel as the place where Arthur was conceived or born, cementing its place in Arthurian mythology and British cultural heritage. Translating as place of the way, what Japanese word describes a facility for teaching physical skills such as martial arts? Dojo. A dojo is a Japanese term that literally means place of the way. It refers to a training hall or facility dedicated to immersive learning, typically associated with martial arts disciplines like judo, karate, or kendo, where students develop physical and mental skills under instruction. In botany, if a plant is monocarpic, what does it do only once? Bear fruit. In botany, a monocarpic plant is characterized by flowering and producing seeds only once in its lifetime before subsequently dying. This reproductive strategy can be observed in various plant types, from annuals like wheat and biennials such as carrots, to some long-lived perennials like the agave americana. What is the call sign name of the US presidential helicopter? Marine One. Marine One is the call sign of any United States Marine Corps aircraft carrying the President of the United States. This designation highlights the specialized protocol and security measures involved in presidential transport, ensuring continuity of government operations. Which English county is the setting for most of painter John Constable's works? Suffolk. John Constable, a prominent English Romantic painter, is renowned for his landscapes, particularly those depicting the Suffolk countryside. His works, such as The Hay Wain, are celebrated for their naturalism and for capturing the idyllic beauty of rural England. Used in riot control, what is a lacrimator commonly known as? Tear gas. Lacrimators are chemical compounds that irritate the eyes to cause tears, pain, and temporary blindness, commonly known as tear gas. These agents are primarily used for riot control and crowd dispersion, incapacitating individuals without causing permanent injury. The Blarney Stone is in which county of the Republic of Ireland? Cork. The Blarney Stone is a block of Carboniferous limestone built into the battlements of Blarney Castle, County Cork, Ireland. Legend holds that kissing the stone bestows the gift of the gab, great eloquence or skill at flattery, making it a popular tourist attraction. A floating object displaces its own weight in fluid, is essentially what principle? The Archimedes principle. The Archimedes principle states that the buoyant force on an object submerged in a fluid is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. This fundamental principle of fluid mechanics explains why objects float or sink and is critical in fields like naval architecture and engineering. Shah Jahan of India had what built as his wife's tomb? The Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal, located in Agra, India, is an ivory-white marble mausoleum commissioned in 1632 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan to house the tomb of his beloved wife, Mumtaz Mahal. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is an iconic example of Mughal architecture and a testament to eternal love. What did Irish Colonel Thomas Blood attempt to steal in May 1671? The crown jewels. Colonel Thomas Blood, an Irish adventurer, famously attempted to steal the crown jewels from the Tower of London in May 1671. Although he failed to abscond with the jewels, his audacious act became a notorious incident in British history, highlighting the vulnerability of royal regalia. What creature is an old term, flittermouse, used to describe? Bat. The term, flittermouse, is an archaic or dialectal English word for a bat. It describes the bat's characteristic fluttering flight, combining flitter, to move with a light, irregular motion, and mouse, due to its small, rodent-like body. Robert Hawke served as the Prime Minister of which country? Australia. Robert Bob Hawke was the 23rd Prime Minister of Australia, serving from 1983 to 1991. A prominent figure in the Australian Labor Party, his premiership was marked by significant economic reforms and social policies. Which modern technology term originates from a Czechoslovakian word meaning forced labor? Robot. The word robot was coined by Czech writer Karel Čapek in his 1920 play, R.U.R. Rossum's Universal Robots. It derives from the Old Church Slavonic, rabota, meaning servitude, forced labor, or drudgery, reflecting the artificial worker's role. The term Perciformes, representing the largest order of vertebrates, refers to which group of backboned creatures? Fish. Perciformes is the largest order of ray-finned fish and also the largest order of all vertebrates, comprising over 10,000 species. This diverse group, commonly known as perch-like fish, includes many familiar species like tuna, snapper, and cichlids. In bullfighting, what is the specific name of the horseman who lances the bull to weaken it? Picador. A picador is one of the participants in a bullfight who rides a blindfolded horse and uses a lance to stab the bull in the neck muscles. This action aims to weaken the bull's neck and shoulder muscles, lowering its head and making it easier for the matador to deliver the final sword thrust. Exophthalmic goiter is the medical term for which specific disease? Graves' disease. Exophthalmic goiter is a characteristic symptom of Graves' disease, an autoimmune condition causing hyperthyroidism. The exophthalmos refers to the bulging of the eyes, and goiter describes the enlargement of the thyroid gland, both resulting from an overactive thyroid. What type of products does a charcutier primarily sell? Prepared meats, charcuterie. A charcutier is a person who specializes in charcuterie, which is a branch of cooking devoted to prepared meat products, such as bacon, ham, sausage, terrines, galantines, pates, and confit. These products are often made from pork. Used in cause and effect analysis, due to its structure the Ishikawa diagram is more commonly known by what name? Fishbone diagram. The Ishikawa diagram, also known as a fishbone diagram or cause and effect diagram, is a visualization tool for categorizing the potential causes of a problem to identify its root causes. Its structure, resembling the skeleton of a fish, with the head representing the problem and bones representing categories of causes, gives it its common name. In which country is the 17th century Khaju Bridge, known for its distinctive 23 arches? Iran. The Khaju Bridge, a beautiful example of Persian architecture from the Safavid era, mid-17th century, is located in Isfahan, Iran. It served as a bridge, a dam, and a leisure area, showcasing intricate tile work and paintings. In which year was the Suez Canal officially opened for navigation? 1869. The Suez Canal, connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, was officially opened on November 17, 1869. This monumental engineering feat significantly reduced maritime travel distances between Europe and Asia, profoundly impacting global trade and geopolitics. In which country is the Red Lake mine, renowned for its rich gold ore deposits? Canada. The Red Lake Gold Mine, located in Ontario, Canada, is one of the world's most significant and high-grade gold mines. It has been a major contributor to Canada's mineral economy for decades, known for its deep underground operations. In traditional systems of male nobility, which title is generally considered to be immediately below that of an emperor? King. In many historical hierarchies of nobility, an emperor typically holds sway over multiple kingdoms or an empire, making the title of king the next subordinate rank. A king rules a kingdom, which may or may not be part of a larger empire led by an emperor. What is the name of the outer plasma atmosphere of the Sun, visible with the naked eye during an eclipse? Corona. The Sun's corona is its outermost atmosphere, consisting of plasma. It is usually obscured by the bright light of the photosphere but becomes visible during a total solar eclipse, appearing as a shimmering halo. It reaches extremely high temperatures, millions of degrees Celsius. Al-Maghrib, a common shortening of Al-Mamlaka al-Maghribiya, the Western Kingdom, is the local name for which country? Morocco. Al-Maghrib is the Arabic name for Morocco, meaning the West, or the place where the sun sets. The full official name is Al-Mamlaka al-Maghribiya, or the Kingdom of the West, reflecting its geographical position as the westernmost Arab country in North Africa. In Greek mythology, who did Leander fall in love with and swim every night across the Hellespont to be with? Hero. The myth of Hero and Leander is a tragic Greek legend. Leander, from Abydos, would swim across the Hellespont, Dardanelles, each night to be with Hero, a priestess of Aphrodite in Sestos, guided by a lamp she lit. Their love ended tragically when Leander drowned during a storm, and Hero, upon finding his body, threw herself into the sea. Which war artist, and later a famous sculptor, produced a notable series of drawings depicting people sheltering in London Underground railway stations during the Blitz bombings of 1940-41? Henry Moore. Henry Moore, a renowned British sculptor, is famous for his semi-abstract monumental bronze sculptures. During World War II, he was commissioned as a war artist, producing powerful drawings of Londoners sheltering in the underground during the Blitz, which captured the human experience of the war. Which British politician was formerly known as Second Viscount Stansgate? Tony Benn. Tony Benn was a prominent British Labour politician who served as a Member of Parliament for over 50 years. He famously renounced his hereditary peerage, the Second Viscount Stansgate, in 1963 to remain in the House of Commons, influencing the Peerage Act that allowed others to do the same. Speleology is the study of what? Caves. Speleology is the scientific study of caves and other karst features, including their physical formation, structure, and history, as well as the life forms they contain. Practitioners are known as speleologists, and the activity of exploring caves is often called caving or potholing. What is the chemical compound C6H12O6 better known as? Glucose. Glucose is a simple sugar with the molecular formula C6H12O6, making it a monosaccharide. It is the most important carbohydrate in biology, serving as the main source of energy for the body's cells and being a primary product of photosynthesis. Who was leader of the opposition in the UK from 1994 to 1997? Tony Blair. Tony Blair served as leader of the Labour Party and leader of the opposition in the United Kingdom from 1994 to 1997. His tenure as opposition leader led to a historic landslide victory for Labour in the 1997 general election, making him Prime Minister. Where in the United Kingdom are the giant pandas Yangwang and Tian Tian located? Edinburgh Zoo. Yangwang and Tian Tian are giant pandas housed at Edinburgh Zoo, the only zoo in the United Kingdom to host this species. They arrived in 2011 as part of a 10-year breeding and research program in collaboration with China, significantly boosting public engagement with conservation efforts. Which animal, a relative of the guinea pig, is recognized as the largest rodent globally? Capybara. The capybara, Hydrocoerus hydrocaerus, is the largest living rodent in the world, native to South America. Known for its semi-aquatic nature, it belongs to the family Caviidae, which also includes guinea pigs. Meles meles is the scientific name for which European mammal? Badger. Meles meles is the scientific, Latin, name for the European badger, a nocturnal, omnivorous mammal native to most of Europe and parts of Western Asia. It is known for its distinctive black and white striped head and powerful digging claws. What term refers to a new convert to a particular religion or doctrine? Proselyte. A proselyte is an individual who has converted from one religion or belief to another, often used specifically for converts to Judaism or Christianity in ancient times. The act of seeking to convert others is known as proselytism. Which sugar, with the chemical formula C6H12O6, is also commonly known as grape sugar? Dextrose. Dextrose is the common name for D-glucose, a monosaccharide with the chemical formula C6H12O6. It is a simple sugar that serves as a vital energy source for living organisms and is naturally found in grapes and other fruits. Which English word is derived from the French term meaning sour wine? Vinegar. The word vinegar originates from the Old French vinaigre, which is a compound of vin, wine, and aigre, sour. This etymology perfectly describes its nature as an acidic liquid produced from the fermentation of ethanol in wine or other alcoholic liquids. From which language does the musical term toccata originate? Italian. Toccata is an Italian musical term, derived from the verb toccare, meaning to touch. It describes a virtuoso piece of music, typically for a keyboard instrument, designed to show off the performer's technique and touch on the instrument. What is the rhetorical device or figure of speech that involves the use of exaggeration? Hyperbole. Hyperbole is a figure of speech that uses extreme exaggeration to emphasize a point or create a strong impression, rather than to be taken literally. It is commonly used in literature, poetry, and everyday speech to add dramatic effect. What is the adjective applied to words that have more than one meaning? Polysemous. Polysemy refers to a word or phrase having multiple related meanings. Understanding polysemous words is crucial for precise communication and comprehension, often tested in language proficiency sections of competitive exams. What name is given to a star's outer shell from which light is radiated? Photosphere. The photosphere is the visible surface of a star, such as the sun, from which light is primarily emitted. It is characterized by its opaque nature and is the layer where sunspots are observed. Which capital city was supposedly founded by Yuri the Long-Armed? Moscow. Moscow, the capital of Russia, is traditionally said to have been founded by Prince Yuri Dolgoruki in the 12th century. The first reference to Moscow dates back to 1147, marking its historical establishment as a significant settlement. In which month are St. David's Day and St. Patrick's Day celebrated in the UK? March. St. David's Day, celebrating the patron saint of Wales, falls on March 1st Street. St. Patrick's Day, honoring the patron saint of Ireland, is celebrated on March 17th. Both are significant cultural observances with historical roots within the UK and Ireland. What is the title of Damien Hirst's 1994 work featuring a cow and calf in formaldehyde? Mother and Child Divided. Damien Hirst is a prominent figure in the Young British Artists, YBA's, movement. Mother and Child Divided, 1993, is an iconic installation comprising a bisected cow and calf preserved in formaldehyde, exploring themes of life, death, and art. What is the SI unit for amount of substance? Mole. In physics and chemistry, the mole is the SI unit for amount of substance, representing exactly 6.022 times 10 to the 23 elementary entities. This value, known as Avogadro's number, is crucial for stoichiometric calculations and relating macroscopic quantities to atomic or molecular levels. Where in the human body would you find the soleus muscle? Lower leg, ankle. The soleus is a powerful muscle in the posterior compartment of the lower leg, specifically located beneath the gastrocnemius muscle. It plays a vital role in plantarflexion of the foot, which is essential for walking, running, and maintaining upright posture. Which ancient measurement ran from the elbow to the tip of the longest finger? Cubit. The cubit was an historical unit of length, primarily used in ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, and other cultures. It was typically defined as the length from the elbow to the tip of the middle finger, varying slightly between different civilizations but averaging around 45 to 50 centimeters. What part of the body is affected by cholecystitis? Gallbladder. Cholecystitis is an inflammation of the gallbladder, a small organ located beneath the liver that stores and concentrates bile. This condition is most commonly caused by gallstones blocking the cystic duct, leading to pain, fever, and digestive issues. Which birds gather in screaming parties on summer evenings? Swifts. Swifts are highly aerial birds known for their rapid, acrobatic flight and distinctive calls. Their screaming parties are a characteristic behavior observed on summer evenings, where groups of swifts fly together at high speed, vocalizing loudly, often before roosting. What is the poetic name for the song thrush? Mavis. The mavis is a poetic or archaic name for the song thrush, Turdus philomelos, a European passerine bird renowned for its beautiful and varied song. This term has appeared in classical poetry and literature to refer to the bird's melodious voice. In August 1969, what notable event took place on Max Yasgur's farm? Woodstock Festival. The Woodstock Music and Art Fair, commonly known as Woodstock, was a pivotal counterculture festival held from August 15 to 18, 1969, on a dairy farm in Bethel, New York. It symbolized the peak of the 1960s counterculture movement and became an iconic event in music and cultural history. What was the name of the farmyard cock in the story of Reynard the Fox? Chanticleer. Chanticleer is a famous character, a proud and vain rooster, from the medieval European cycle of fables known as Reynard the Fox. His story, often depicted in various literary adaptations, including Chaucer's The Nun's Priest's Tale, typically involves him outsmarting or being outsmarted by the cunning fox. Who is Amol Rajan known for editing? Independent. Amol Rajan is a British journalist and broadcaster, widely recognized for his work with the BBC. He previously served as the editor of The Independent, a prominent national daily newspaper in the United Kingdom. In 1917, what title did media baron Max Aitken assume upon his elevation to the peerage? Beaverbrook. Max Aitken, later known as Lord Beaverbrook, was a powerful Canadian-British newspaper proprietor, politician, and financier. He became an influential figure in British media and government, particularly during the World Wars, and was granted the peerage title of Baron Beaverbrook in 1917. Which saint is typically associated with a beehive as their emblem? Ambrose. Saint Ambrose, one of the 4 original doctors of the Church, is frequently depicted with a beehive or bees. This symbolism signifies his eloquence, wisdom, and the sweetness of his words and teachings, much like honey produced by bees. On which specific date is All Saints' Day observed in the Western Christian Church? November 1st. All Saints' Day is an important holy day celebrated annually on November 1st in the Western Christian tradition. It is dedicated to honoring all the saints, both known and unknown, who have attained heaven, and is a day of spiritual remembrance. According to legend, which saint famously nipped the devil's nose with red-hot tongs? Dunstan. Saint Dunstan, a significant archbishop of Canterbury in the 10th century, is famously associated with the legend of subduing the devil by pinching his nose with red-hot tongs. This popular medieval tale underscores his perceived piety and power over evil. What is the principal town on the Isle of Skye? Portree. Portree is the largest town and the administrative centre of the Isle of Skye, located in the Inner Hebrides of Scotland. It is a vital hub for tourism and local services on the island, known for its scenic harbour and vibrant community. What is the alternative 6-letter name for carbolic acid? Phenol. Carbolic acid is the common name for phenol, an aromatic organic compound with the chemical formula hexacarbon pentahydride O. It appears as a white crystalline solid with a distinctive odor and is widely used in various industrial applications and is a disinfectant. Which type of fish is traditionally used to prepare an arbroath smoky? Haddock. An arbroath smoky is a renowned culinary specialty consisting of hot smoked haddock, originating from Arbroath, Scotland. The fish is traditionally prepared by hot smoking whole haddock over smouldering hardwood fires, imparting a unique flavor and golden brown skin. Which country is ruled by the House of Thani? Qatar. The House of Thani is the ruling royal family of Qatar. They have governed Qatar since the mid-19th century, with the current emir being Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Qatar is a hereditary monarchy. Of which Roman poet was Maro the family name? Virgil. Publius Virgilius Maro, commonly known as Virgil, was an ancient Roman poet. He is celebrated for his epic poem, the Aeneid, which tells the story of Aeneas, a Trojan who traveled to Italy and became the ancestor of the Romans. Of which Roman poet was Flaccus the family name? Horace. Quintus Horatius Flaccus, known in the English-speaking world as Horace, was the leading Roman lyric poet during the time of Augustus. His works include odes, satires, and epistles, influencing Western literature for centuries. Sand gropers traditionally hail from which Australian state? Western Australia. Sand gropers is a colloquial nickname for people from Western Australia. The term likely refers to the state's expansive sandy coastlines and interior deserts. These regional nicknames are part of a country's cultural geography. Which musical work is subtitled The Newgate Festival? Beggar's Opera. The Beggar's Opera is a ballad opera in 3 acts written by John Gay. First performed in 1728, it is notable for its satirical depiction of corruption and its influence on subsequent musical theatre, including the German, Threepenny Opera. In which town is the San Fermin running of the Bulls Festival held annually? Pamplona. The San Fermin Festival is an annual celebration held in Pamplona, Navarre, Spain. It is famous worldwide for its running of the bulls, encierro, and traditionally takes place from July 6 to 14th. In Hinduism, what name is given to the festival of color or colors? Holi. Holi is an important Hindu festival celebrating the arrival of spring, the triumph of good over evil, and the eternal divine love of Radhakrishna. It is known for its vibrant colors, where people smear and douse each other with dry powders, gulal, and colored water. A name meaning, spiny skin, starfish belong to which animal phylum? Echinoderms. Echinodermata is a phylum of marine animals, meaning, spiny skin, in Greek, which includes starfish, sea urchins, and sea cucumbers. These organisms are characterized by their radial symmetry, typically 5-point, and calcified endoskeleton. Which Spanish city was the home of the artist El Greco? Toledo. Domenicos Theotokopoulos, famously known as El Greco, was a painter, sculptor, and architect of the Spanish Renaissance. Toledo served as his primary residence and a significant source of inspiration for most of his artistic career. What is the first of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross 5 stages of grief? Denial. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, a Swiss-American psychiatrist, introduced the 5 stages of grief in her 1969 book, On Death and Dying. These stages, often abbreviated as DABDA, begin with denial, followed by anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, describing emotional responses to loss. Which body of water is nicknamed the Blue Eye of Siberia? Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal, located in Siberia, Russia, is the world's deepest and oldest freshwater lake, holding approximately 20% of the world's unfrozen freshwater. Its immense depth, clarity, and unique biodiversity have earned it the nickname, the Blue Eye of Siberia, and recognition as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. What is the common English name of Mozart's Serenade for strings in G major? A Little Night Music. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's Serenade No. 13 for strings in G major, K. 525, is universally known by its German title, Eine kleine Nachtmusik, which translates to, A Little Night Music. This popular classical composition is a serenade comprising 4 movements, frequently performed at concerts and featured in various media. South Carolina is bordered by North Carolina and which other state? Georgia. South Carolina is a southeastern state in the United States. It shares its northern border with North Carolina and its southwestern border with Georgia. Foyas, associated with Provence, is what type of food? Bread. Foyas is a traditional flatbread originating from the Provence region of France. It is often characterized by its decorative slashes, which give it a leaf-like or ear of wheat appearance, and can be flavored with various ingredients. What on a French menu are crevettes? Prawns or shrimps. Crevettes is the French term for prawns or shrimps. These popular crustaceans are a common ingredient in French cuisine, frequently appearing in appetizers and main courses. Which is the only freshwater member of the cod family? Burbot. The burbot, Lota lota, is a unique fish species, distinguished as the only member of the cod family, Gaddidae, to live exclusively in freshwater environments. It inhabits cold rivers and lakes across the northern hemisphere. Mount Boat Range, at 694 meters, is the highest point of which European country? Belgium. Mount Boat Range is the highest peak in Belgium, situated in the High Fens Plateau. While not exceptionally high, it marks the country's maximum elevation and is a notable geographical feature. What name is shared by a crustacean and a goose of the genus Branta? Barnacle. The term barnacle refers to both a type of marine crustacean and a genus of geese, specifically the barnacle goose, Branta leucopsis. The goose was historically believed to hatch from the marine barnacle, leading to the shared nomenclature. Which city is linked to the M4 motorway by the M32 motorway? Bristol. The M32 motorway serves as a crucial spur linking the M4 motorway directly into the city centre of Bristol, United Kingdom. It is a vital transport artery for access to the city from the main M4 corridor. The little bustard, Tetrax, and great bustard, Otis tarda, are species of which type of bird? Bustards. The little-busted, tetrax, and great-busted, Otis tarda, are two distinct species of busteds, known for being large, terrestrial birds primarily found in dry grasslands and steppes across Europe and Asia. Both species face conservation challenges, with the great bustard being one of the heaviest flying birds. Devadatta repeatedly attempted to assassinate which prominent religious leader? Buddha. Devadatta was a cousin and brother-in-law of Siddhartha Gautam, the Buddha. He is known in Buddhist traditions for his jealousy and repeated attempts to harm Buddha and create schism within the Sangha, eventually suffering negative karmic consequences. Which prominent 12th century Cistercian abbey, now in ruins, is located near Ripon, England? Fountains Abbey. Fountains Abbey is one of the largest and best preserved ruined Cistercian monasteries in England, founded in 1132. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, renowned for its architectural grandeur and historical significance during the medieval period. Who authored the 1904 novel, The Napoleon of Notting Hill? G. K. Chesterton. G. K. Chesterton, a prominent English writer and philosopher, penned The Napoleon of Notting Hill in 1904. This satirical novel explores themes of local patriotism and political ideals through a whimsical future London where each borough is a sovereign state. What is the common term for the sensitive area of flesh located at the base of a fingernail or toenail? Quick. The quick refers to the live, sensitive tissue under the nail plate and at its base, which contains blood vessels and nerve endings. It is a part of the nail bed, essential for nail growth and health, and is highly sensitive to injury. Derived from Latin, meaning, farewell to meat, or, put away the flesh, what term refers to a festive season or fair traditionally observed before Lent? Carnival. The term, carnival, originates from the Latin, carni leva, meaning, to put away the flesh, referencing the tradition of abstaining from meat during Lent. It signifies a public celebration involving parades, music, and feasting, typically held in Catholic countries before the liturgical season of Lent. The Peasants' Revolt took place during the reign of which English king? Richard II. The Peasants' Revolt, also known as Wat Tyler's Rebellion, occurred in 1381 during the reign of King Richard II of England. This major uprising was a response to the poll tax and socio-economic grievances, profoundly impacting English feudal society. Who was the only canonized king of France? Louis IX. Louis IX, known as Saint Louis, reigned as King of France from 1226 to 1270. He was canonized by the Catholic Church in 1297, becoming the sole French monarch to achieve sainthood for his piety, justice, and leadership in the Crusades. Mary Robinson and Frances Villiers were mistresses of which 19th century king? George IV. George IV, King of the United Kingdom and Hanover from 1820 to 1830, was known for his extravagant lifestyle and numerous mistresses, including Mary Robinson and Frances Villiers. His reign is often associated with the cultural and political developments of the Regency era. Dushanbe is the capital city of which former Soviet republic? Tajikistan. Dushanbe is the capital and largest city of Tajikistan, a landlocked country in Central Asia. Formerly a constituent republic of the Soviet Union, Tajikistan's capital serves as a significant political and economic hub for the region. Which work by Charles Dickens opens with the line, "Now, what I want is facts"? Hard Times. Hard Times is a novel by Charles Dickens, first published in 1854. Its opening line, "Now, what I want is facts," immediately establishes the book's critical stance on utilitarianism and the harsh social and economic conditions prevalent in industrial England. Which hemorrhagic fever virus is named after a city in Hessen, Germany? Marburg virus. The Marburg virus causes Marburg virus disease, a severe and often fatal hemorrhagic fever. It was first identified in 1967 during outbreaks in Marburg, Germany, among laboratory workers exposed to African green monkeys, hence its name. Who is Jessica's father in Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice? Shylock. Shylock is a prominent Jewish moneylender and the main antagonist in William Shakespeare's play, The Merchant of Venice. His daughter, Jessica, elopes with a Christian, Lorenzo, a pivotal event that contributes to Shylock's tragic narrative. John James Audubon became famous for painting what? Birds. John James Audubon was an American ornithologist, naturalist, and painter renowned for his comprehensive portrayal of North American birds. His seminal work, The Birds of America, is a collection of 435 life-size prints celebrated for their artistic merit and scientific accuracy. Which biblical city's walls fell to the blast of trumpets? Jericho. Jericho is an ancient city located in the Jordan Valley, historically significant and known from the biblical book of Joshua, where its walls famously fell after the Israelites marched around it for 7 days. Archaeologically, it is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. Charlotte Beezer Bertoldi was the model for which statue? Statue of Liberty. Charlotte Beezer Bertoldi, the wife of sculptor Frederic Auguste Bertoldi, served as the model for the iconic Statue of Liberty. This colossal neoclassical sculpture was a gift from France to the United States, commemorating the alliance of France and the United States during the American Revolution. Which famous fair held annually for 700 years was first held at Smithfield in 1133? Bartholomew Fair. The Bartholomew Fair was one of London's most famous and long-running fairs, first established in 1133 by Henry I. It was held annually at Smithfield and known for its trade, entertainment, and vibrant atmosphere, evolving from a cloth fair into a pleasure fair over its 700-year history. Which king's 4 sons together with their mother rebelled against him in France in 1173? Henry II. In 1173, the Great Revolt saw Henry II of England's 4 sons, Henry the Young King, Richard, later Richard I, Geoffrey, and John, later John Lackland, rebel against him, supported by their mother, Eleanor of Aquitaine. This significant dynastic conflict stemmed from disputes over land, power, and succession within the Angevin Empire. Which part of the eye is the sclera? White. The sclera is the opaque, fibrous, protective outer layer of the human eye, often referred to as the white of the eye. It provides structural integrity and protection to the delicate inner components of the eyeball. Which artistic term is used for the balance of light and shade? Chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro is an art technique employing strong contrasts between light and dark, usually bold contrasts affecting a whole composition. It is a prominent feature in the works of artists like Caravaggio and Rembrandt, creating a sense of volume and dramatic effect. Which sculptor produced the 1934-35 work, Ecce Homo? Jacob Epstein. Jacob Epstein was a prominent British sculptor known for his expressive and often controversial works. Ecce Homo, Latin for, Behold the Man, is a significant piece reflecting his interest in religious themes and raw human emotion, characterized by its monumental scale. Which nautical measurement is 240 yards? Cable. A cable, or cable length, is a unit of nautical measurement historically defined as 1/10 of a nautical mile. While it varies slightly, the US Navy defines it as 120 fathoms or 720 feet, which is equivalent to 240 yards. This unit is primarily used for measuring distances at sea. . Which weight system is used for precious metals? Troy. The Troy weight system is a system of units of mass historically used in England for precious metals, gemstones, and gunpowder. A troy ounce, approximately 31.103 grams, is distinct from the avoirdupois ounce, ensuring consistent pricing and trading in the global market for gold, silver, and platinum. Which African country is entirely surrounded by Senegal? Gambia. The Gambia is a small West African country that forms an almost complete enclave within Senegal, apart from its short Atlantic coastline. Its unique geographical position, stretching along the Gambia River, is a legacy of colonial demarcations, influencing its historical and contemporary relationship with Senegal. In which country is around 85% of the Thar Desert? India. The Thar Desert, also known as the Great Indian Desert, is a large arid region in the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent. Approximately 85% of the Thar Desert lies within India, primarily in the state of Rajasthan, with the remaining portion in Pakistan. Shagreen is leather made from the skin of which creatures? Sharks. Shagreen is a type of untanned leather, often made from the skin of sharks or rays, characterized by a rough, granular surface. Traditionally used for decorative purposes, such as sword hilts and book bindings, its unique texture comes from the dermal denticles, scales, present on the fish's skin. What is known as India's teardrop? Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is an island nation located southeast of the Indian subcontinent in the Indian Ocean. Its distinctive teardrop or teardrop shape, combined with its geographical proximity, has earned it the informal moniker, India's teardrop, reflecting its natural beauty and strategic location. Which inert gas is used to fill modern incandescent light bulbs? Argon. Argon is an inert gas chosen for incandescent light bulbs because its non-reactive nature prevents the tungsten filament from oxidizing and burning out quickly. This significantly extends the bulb's lifespan compared to a vacuum or reactive gas. From which mineral is radium obtained? Pitchblende. Radium is primarily extracted from the mineral pitchblende, also known as uraninite, which is a significant uranium ore. Marie and Pierre Curie famously isolated radium from pitchblende, leading to the discovery of radioactivity. Where is a fish's caudal fin? On the tail. The caudal fin is commonly known as the tail fin of a fish. It is the primary structure responsible for propulsion, enabling the fish to move forward through water. If a goldfish is kept in a dark room for a length of time, what will happen? It will turn white. Goldfish coloration is influenced by specialized pigment cells called chromatophores, which respond to light. In prolonged darkness, these cells may reduce pigment production, leading to a loss of color and the fish appearing white or pale. What is a baby cod called? Codling. A young codfish is specifically referred to as a codling. This term is part of zoological nomenclature used to describe the juvenile forms of various aquatic species. Which book is divided into 114 surahs or chapters? Quran. The Quran, or Quran, is the central religious text of Islam, believed by Muslims to be a revelation from God. It is traditionally organized into 114 chapters, known as surahs, which vary in length and subject matter. What French term is used for a novel based on real people but under disguised names? Roman éclef. A roman éclef, French for novel with a key, is a literary genre where real people, events, or settings are depicted under fictionalized names or thinly veiled disguises. This allows authors to comment on contemporary society or historical events while maintaining a layer of fictionality. What term describes the final resolution or unwinding of a complicated plot in a narrative? Denouement. The denouement is the final part of a play, film, or narrative in which the strands of the plot are drawn together and matters are explained or resolved. It serves to tie up loose ends and provide closure for the audience or reader. What is the poetic term for a mournful, contemplative poem, often lamenting the death of a person? Elegy. An elegy is a poem of serious reflection, typically a lament for the dead. It is characterized by its somber tone and often explores themes of loss, grief, and remembrance, following a formal or semi-formal structure. What symbol, famously appropriated by the Nazi Party, was known as the Hakenkreuz in German? The swastika. The Hakenkreuz, or hooked cross, is the German name for the swastika, which became the principal symbol of Nazism. Though an ancient symbol of good fortune in various cultures, its adoption by the Nazis led to its association with fascism, anti-Semitism, and genocide. What was the official anthem of the Nazi Party, named after its lyricist? The Horst-Wessel Lied. The Horst-Wessel Lied, also known as Die Fahne hoch, the Flag High, was the anthem of the Nazi Party from 1930 to 1945. It was named after Horst Wessel, a Nazi activist who was murdered in 1930 and subsequently glorified as a martyr by the party. Who served as Adolf Hitler's Minister for Public Enlightenment and Propaganda in Nazi Germany? Joseph Goebbels. Joseph Goebbels was a key figure in the Nazi regime, serving as Minister for Public Enlightenment and Propaganda from 1933 until 1945. He was responsible for controlling and disseminating Nazi ideology through all forms of media, effectively manipulating public opinion. The adjective lupine refers to which animal? Wolf. The adjective lupine is derived from the Latin word lupus, meaning wolf. It is used to describe characteristics or qualities associated with wolves, such as their appearance, behavior, or howling. Which classic novel by Austrian author Felix Salten was adapted into a celebrated animated film by Walt Disney in 1942? Bambi. Felix Salten's novel, Bambi, A Life in the Woods, 1923, is a poignant coming-of-age story of a roe deer. Walt Disney's 1942 animated adaptation brought the story to a global audience, becoming a cinematic classic renowned for its animation and emotional depth. What is the common name for purple grenadier? Passion fruit. Purple grenadier is a common name for certain varieties of Passiflora edulis, widely known as passion fruit. This fruit is native to parts of South America and is cultivated globally for its distinctive sweet tart pulp, used in beverages and desserts. Sun Sant John Airport serves which island destination? Mallorca, Mallorca. Sun Sant John Airport, PMI, is the international airport serving Palma, Mallorca, one of Spain's Balearic Islands. It is a major gateway for tourists visiting the Mediterranean region and is one of the busiest airports in Spain. Marmaris, a popular resort town, is located in which country? Turkey. Marmaris is a prominent Mediterranean resort town and a major port in Muğla province, Turkey, situated along the Turkish Riviera. It is a popular tourist destination known for its vibrant nightlife, beautiful beaches, and extensive marina facilities. Benidorm is located on which Spanish coastline? Costa Blanca. Benidorm is a well-known resort city in Spain, situated on the Costa Blanca in the province of Alicante. It is famous for its numerous skyscrapers, wide sandy beaches, and a lively tourist industry, attracting millions of visitors annually. The sinking of the armored cruiser USS Maine in 1898 was a significant catalyst for which major conflict? Spanish-American War. The USS Maine exploded and sank in Havana Harbor in February 1898, killing over 260 American sailors. Although the exact cause remains debated, American yellow journalism extensively blamed Spain, fueling public outrage and significantly contributing to the outbreak of the Spanish-American War in April 1898. What is the common name given to the Arab-Israeli conflict that occurred in 1973? Yom Kippur War. The Yom Kippur War, also known as the October War or 1973 Arab-Israeli War, began on October 6, 1973, when a coalition of Arab states led by Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel. This conflict, fought during Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism, led to significant geopolitical shifts in the Middle East. The Egyptian species of which small mammal is also called the ichneumon? Mongoose. The Egyptian mongoose, Herpestes ichneumon, is a species of mongoose native to North Africa and parts of southern Europe and the Middle East. It is known for its snake hunting abilities and is often referred to as ichneumon, a term derived from Greek, meaning tracker. The guanaco belongs to which animal family? Camel. The guanaco, Llama guanico, is a camelid native to the arid and semi-arid regions of South America. It is a wild ancestor of the domesticated llama and alpaca, known for its thick, woolly coat and adaptability to harsh environments. The babirusa is a wild variety of which domesticated animal? Pig. The babirusa is a genus of wild pigs found in Wallacea, specifically on the Indonesian islands of Sulawesi, Togian, Sula, and Buru. Known for their distinctive upward curving tusks, they are considered a unique and ancient lineage within the pig family. Which European capital stands on the river Ar? Bern. Bern is the de facto capital of Switzerland and is situated on a peninsula formed by the river Ar. The river loops around the city's medieval old town, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, adding to its picturesque setting and natural defense. Mexico and which country are separated by the Yucatan Channel? Cuba. The Yucatan Channel is a strait separating the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico from Cuba. It connects the Yucatan Basin of the Caribbean Sea with the Gulf of Mexico, serving as a crucial oceanic passage for water currents and marine life. What is the capital of the islands of Madeira? Funchal. Funchal is the capital city of Madeira, an autonomous region of Portugal located in the Atlantic Ocean. This vibrant city is a major port, tourist destination, and the largest urban center on the island, known for its gardens and historical sites. Which semi-nomadic ethnic group inhabits northern Scandinavia? Sami. The Sami people are an indigenous Finno-Ugric people inhabiting Sup, which encompasses large parts of northern Norway, Sweden, Finland, and the Kola Peninsula of Russia. Traditionally semi-nomadic, they are known for their distinct culture, language, and reindeer herding practices. Distaff is the female side or branch of a family. What is the male? Spear. The term, distaff, historically refers to the female line of a family, symbolizing women's traditional role in spinning. Conversely, spear is the archaic term used to denote the male line or branch of a family, representing traditional male roles such as hunting or warfare. What is the army equivalent of the Royal Navy's Commodore? Brigadier. In the hierarchical structure of the British Armed Forces, a brigadier is a senior rank in the army, typically commanding a brigade. This rank is equivalent to a commodore in the Royal Navy and an air commodore in the Royal Air Force, signifying comparable levels of command and responsibility across the services. What are the legislative assemblies of Jersey, Guernsey, and Alderney called? The states. The legislative assemblies of Jersey, Guernsey, and Alderney, which are crown dependencies, are collectively known as the states. For example, Jersey's parliament is the States Assembly, and Guernsey's is the States of Deliberation. These bodies exercise legislative power in their respective islands, reflecting their unique constitutional relationship with the United Kingdom. The environmental phobia, ombrophobia, is an unnatural fear of what? Rain. Ombrophobia is derived from the Greek word, ombros, meaning rain. It's an excessive and irrational fear of rain, often leading to anxiety attacks and avoidance behaviors, similar to other specific phobias. Which star constellation is the herdsman? Bootes. Bootes is a constellation in the northern sky, whose name means herdsman or plowman in Greek. It is one of the 48 constellations listed by Ptolemy and is known for its bright star Arcturus, the fourth brightest star in the night sky. The environmental phobia, homiclophobia, is an unnatural fear of what? Fog. Homiclophobia is an irrational and intense fear of fog. This specific phobia can cause significant distress and anxiety for individuals, often leading them to avoid situations or places where fog might be present. Which metallic element is extracted from the ore calamine? Zinc. Calamine refers primarily to zinc carbonate, or a mixture of zinc carbonate and zinc silicate. Zinc is a crucial metallic element with various industrial applications, including galvanization, battery production, and is an essential micronutrient. Which star constellation is the Charioteer? Auriga. Auriga is a constellation in the northern sky, whose name is Latin for the Charioteer. It is easily recognizable due to its bright star Capella, which is one of the brightest stars in the night sky. On which river does Middlesbrough stand? Tees. Middlesbrough is a large industrial town in North Yorkshire, England, situated on the south bank of the River Tees. The River Tees is an important waterway that flows generally eastward, emptying into the North Sea at Tees Bay. Pygmalion was the legendary king of which island? Cyprus. In Greek mythology, Pygmalion was a legendary sculptor and king of Cyprus. He fell in love with a statue he carved, which was then brought to life by Aphrodite, illustrating themes of creation and desire. With which brand name do you associate the synthetic substance polytetrafluoroethylene? Teflon. Polytetrafluoroethylene, PTFE, is a synthetic fluoropolymer of tetrafluoroethylene, best known by the DuPont brand name Teflon. It is noted for its non-stick properties, making it widely used as a coating for cookware and in various industrial applications. What is the primary function of scotopic vision? It enables vision in low light conditions. Scotopic vision, primarily facilitated by the rod cells in the retina, is responsible for vision at low light levels. Rod cells are highly sensitive to light but do not detect color, which is why vision in the dark appears monochromatic. Which country includes Klagenfurt and Villach among its largest cities by population? Austria. Klagenfurt and Villach are significant cities in Austria, known for their regional importance and scenic locations. Klagenfurt is the capital of the federal state of Carinthia, while Villach is also a major city in the same state. Which city in the western Ruhr area of Germany possesses the world's largest inland port? Duisburg. Duisburg, located at the confluence of the Rhine and Ruhr rivers, is home to the world's largest inland port. This strategic location has made it a crucial transportation and logistics hub, particularly for the industrial Ruhr region. Which politician issued an apology for racist remarks he had made in the 1980s? Oliver Letwin. Oliver Letwin, a prominent British politician, apologized in December 2017 for racist remarks he made in a 1985 memo about the Notting Hill Carnival. His comments drew significant criticism, prompting a public apology for the offensive language used decades earlier. In which present-day U.S. state is Pearl Harbor located? Hawaii. Pearl Harbor, a crucial naval base, is located on the island of Oahu, Hawaii. It is historically significant as the site of the surprise attack by the Imperial Japanese Navy on December 7, 1941, which led to the United States' entry into World War II. In what country were the terracotta warriors discovered in 1974? China. The Terracotta Army is a collection of terracotta sculptures depicting the armies of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. This immense funerary art ensemble, discovered in 1974 near Xi'an, Shaanxi province, was buried with the emperor around 210-209 B.C.A. to protect him in the afterlife. It is considered one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. Who was born Amy Lyon near Neston in Cheshire, in May 1765? Emma, Lady Hamilton. Emma, Lady Hamilton, born Amy Lyon, was a prominent English model, actress, and courtesan of the late 18th and early 19th centuries. She is famously known for her influential affair with Vice Admiral Horatio Nelson, a celebrated British naval hero, and her close relationship with Queen Maria Carolina of Naples. Her life story reflects significant aspects of British social and cultural history during the Georgian era. In the paso doble, the female role is generally meant to represent what? Matador's cape. The paso doble is a vibrant Spanish dance characterized by its dramatic and theatrical portrayal of a bullfight. In this dance, the male dancer typically embodies the matador, while the female dancer symbolically represents the matador's cape or, less commonly, the bull itself. This arrangement emphasizes the dynamic and passionate narrative inherent in the traditional Spanish bullring. The bossa nova is a type of what more generic dance? Samba. Bossa nova is a sophisticated and influential style of Brazilian music that emerged in the late 1950s and 1960s. It developed as a softer, more intimate, and harmonically complex derivative of the traditional Brazilian samba. Characterized by its distinctive rhythmic patterns and often poetic lyrics, bossa nova significantly contributed to the global spread of Brazilian music and jazz. When and where was the first artesian well drilled? In 1126, by a group of monks in the French province of Artois. An artesian well is a well that taps into an aquifer under positive pressure, causing water to rise to the surface without pumping. The term, artesian, originates from Artois, France, where the first such well was drilled by Carthusian monks in 1126, marking an early example of advanced water extraction technology. What is the term for the first milk secreted by a mammal, often referred to as bee stings, typically produced just before giving birth? Colostrum. Colostrum is the initial form of milk produced by mammary glands of mammals immediately following birth. It is rich in antibodies, nutrients, and growth factors, providing essential immunity and nutrition to the newborn during its first days of life. Who was the de facto dictator who governed Portugal for 36 years, from 1932 to 1968? Antonio de Oliveira Salazar. Antonio de Oliveira Salazar was the authoritarian leader of Portugal from 1932 to 1968, serving as prime minister. He established the Estado Novo, new state, regime, a corporatist, conservative, and nationalist system that maintained Portugal's neutrality during World War II but was characterized by political repression and censorship. Who was appointed as the Shadow Chancellor of the Exchequer in September 2015? John McDonnell. John Macdonald served as the Shadow Chancellor of the Exchequer for the Labour Party in the United Kingdom from September 2015 to April 2020. This role involves scrutinizing the government's economic policies and developing alternative proposals. What was the name of the massive seaplane owned by Howard Hughes? Spruce Goose, officially, the Hughes H-4 Hercules. The Spruce Goose, officially known as the Hughes H-4 Hercules, was a large prototype strategic airlift flying boat designed and built by Howard Hughes Aircraft Company. It holds the record for the largest wingspan of any aircraft in history and flew only once in 1947, becoming a symbol of ambitious aviation engineering. Which coastal village serves as the finishing point for the famous coast-to-coast walk in England? Robin Hood's Bay. The coast-to-coast walk is a celebrated long-distance footpath across northern England, conceived by Alfred Wainwright. Spanning approximately 192 miles, it stretches from St. Bees on the Irish seacoast to Robin Hood's Bay on the North Seacoast, offering diverse landscapes from mountains to moorlands. Ian Martel's novel, Life of Pi, won the Man Booker Prize for Fiction in 2002. Who is the author? Ian Martel. Ian Martel is a Canadian author best known for his 2002 novel, Life of Pi, which tells the story of an Indian boy marooned in the Pacific Ocean with a Bengal tiger. The novel won the Man Booker Prize for Fiction and was later adapted into a critically acclaimed film. What is the Latin phrase for, let the buyer beware? Caveat emptor. Caveat emptor is a Latin phrase meaning, let the buyer beware. It is a fundamental principle in contract law, emphasizing that the buyer is primarily responsible for conducting due diligence on a product or service before making a purchase. What is the meaning of the Latin phrase, fortis in adversus? Strong in difficulties. Fortis in advi is a Latin motto that translates to strong in difficulties or brave in adversity. This phrase is often used to describe resilience, courage, and perseverance in challenging situations. What is the chemical symbol for the element californium? Cf. Californium, Cf, is a radioactive metallic chemical element with atomic number 98 in the periodic table. It is an actinide, named after the University of California and the state of California, where it was first synthesized in 1950. What is the term for a young kangaroo? A joey. A joey is the common term for the young of a marsupial, especially a kangaroo, wallaby, or opossum. Joeys are typically born underdeveloped and complete their early development in their mother's pouch. Which simple yet useful device was invented by Walter Hunt in 1849? The safety pin. Walter Hunt, an American inventor, patented the safety pin in 1849. He reportedly invented it to pay off a $15 debt, selling the patent rights for $400. The Epson HX20 is widely considered the world's first laptop computer. Which company manufactured it? Epson. Released in 1981, the Epson HX20 is often recognized as the first portable computer or laptop. It featured a full-size keyboard, an LCD screen, a built-in printer, and a microcassette drive, marking a significant step in personal computing history. What major thoroughfare was known as Tyburn Road until the 18th century? Oxford Street. Oxford Street is one of London's most famous shopping streets. Historically, it was known as Tyburn Road, infamous for the Tyburn Tree Gallows where public executions took place until the late 18th century. This historical renaming reflects the urban development and changing social landscape of London over centuries. What is the county town of Essex? Chelmsford. Chelmsford is the only city in the county of Essex, England, and serves as its county town. This designation means it's the administrative and often the cultural center of the county. Understanding county towns is fundamental to British administrative geography.